The moral teachings of Jesus and their universal appeal. The moral teachings of Jesus have left an indelible mark on the world, transcending the boundaries of religion, culture, and geography. The fundamental principles that Jesus taught, love, compassion, forgiveness, humility, and peace, resonate profoundly with our common human experience, regardless of whether you are a devoted Christian, a follower of another religion, or just someone looking for insight. Jesus' teachings of moral rectitude and unconditional love are even more pertinent in an era when conflict, injustice, and inequity frequently split the world. In addition to providing spiritual direction, his teachings provide useful answers to the moral dilemmas facing our society today. Jesus' teachings transcend doctrinal details and get to the core of what it means to live in harmony with others, from the bold command to love one's enemies to the golden rule, which promotes empathy in interpersonal interactions. His remarks have sparked innumerable campaigns for equality, social justice, and nonviolence, pushing people to put aside their differences and selfishness. Jesus' teachings provide timeless principles that can help us navigate a world that is changing quickly and full of difficult moral decisions. These ideas can help us create a society that is more compassionate, just, and peaceful. In this video, we will explore 7 of Jesus' most important moral teachings and consider their universal appeal to see why they still motivate people from all walks of life and give hope for a brighter future. These teachings are extremely useful in creating moral welcoming and transforming communities, in addition to reflecting spiritual understanding. The Golden Rule: behaving as you would like to be behaved. The Golden Rule, which states, "Do to others what you would have them do to you," Matthew 7:12, is one of Jesus' most widely accepted moral precepts. This straightforward yet deep idea promotes empathy and reciprocity in interpersonal relationships across cultural and religious divides. The Golden Rule exhorts people to act with compassion, kindness, and fairness by putting themselves in other people's shoes. Its universal appeal stems from the fact that it may be applied to every area of life, including interpersonal relationships, communal connections, and international diplomacy. This idea is a cornerstone of moral behavior everywhere, since it has been accepted by many religious and secular traditions. Love your neighbor, the basis of justice and compassion. Jesus goes beyond simple friendliness or tolerance when he teaches us to love your neighbor as yourself, Mark 12:31. Regardless of one's origin or views, it demands active empathy, compassion, and a dedication to the welfare of others. This commandment pushes people to see the humanity in everyone and to see past social barriers like nationality, religion, or race. This lesson is demonstrated by the Good Samaritan tale, Luke 10:25-37, in which compassion and love for others surpass cultural and religious barriers. People of all religions and intellectual traditions can relate to this idea of global love and compassion, which promotes a moral vision of a more equitable and peaceful society. Forgiveness, a route to recovery and peacemaking. The call to forgive is among Jesus' most difficult yet fundamental moral teachings. Jesus tells his disciples in Matthew 18:21-22 to forgive 70 times 7, implying that forgiveness ought to be unbounded and unconstrained by human limitations. When he prayed for God to pardon those who were persecuting him at his crucifixion, he set an example of this tremendous forgiveness. In addition to being a tenet of Christian doctrine, this act of unreserved forgiveness is a global precept that transcends all religions. One of the most effective routes to both individual and community recovery is forgiveness. People can achieve inner peace by letting go of their bitterness and resentment, and this promotes harmony in families, communities, and even countries. This idea has impacted peace-building initiatives around the world, encouraging human growth and conflict resolution in a variety of settings. People are still greatly moved by Jesus' message of forgiveness, which motivates them to mend fences and work toward harmony. Service and humility, an exhortation to lead by serving others. Jesus' teachings on humility and service provide a countercultural viewpoint in a society that is frequently dominated by ambition and self-promotion. Jesus states in Matthew 20:28 that the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as a ransom for many. Jesus demonstrated humility in both his words and deeds by washing his disciples' feet and teaching that greatness comes from helping others. This moral precept encourages the notion that genuine leadership and influence originate from deeds of service and concern for others rather than from position or authority. Leaders from a wide range of cultures and religions have embraced servant leadership as a means of achieving both individual fulfillment and the well of society, demonstrating the teaching's worldwide appeal, peacemaking and nonviolence. The search for peace. Jesus' moral teachings greatly support promoting peace and nonviolence. He states, "Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God," in Matthew 5-9. This important lesson emphasizes how important it is to promote harmony, tolerance, and peace, even when there is dispute. He encourages people to respond to animosity with love and non-retaliation, rather than violence, by telling them to turn the other cheek, Matthew 5:39, another well-known lesson. This nonviolent tenet has inspired world leaders like Mahatma Gandhi and Martin Luther King Jr., and struck a deep chord with pacifist groups. Both accepted Jesus' teachings as the cornerstone of their nonviolent campaigns for political and social change. Jesus' exhortation to be peacemakers is still applicable in today's society, which is frequently characterized by division and bloodshed. Integrity and honesty. The need to live authentically. Jesus emphasized the importance of moral consistency, honesty, and integrity. He famously urged people to let their yes mean yes, and their no mean no, Matthew 5:37, during the Sermon on the Mount, promoting openness and sincerity in all interactions. This lesson encourages people to live real and truthful lives by challenging them to make sure their words and deeds match. Living with integrity entails upholding one's moral principles, cultivating trust, and creating solid, trustworthy groups. The emphasis on honesty is universal and cuts across time and culture. Integrity is essential for promoting respect, collaboration, and understanding in many contexts, including governance, commercial interactions, and interpersonal connections. Jesus' exhortation to be truthful promotes a society in which people live openly and responsibly, fostering the trust and accountability necessary for justice and peace. Loving enemies. An extreme appeal to put hatred aside. Love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you are two of Jesus' most profound and revolutionary moral teachings, Matthew 5:44. This doctrine promotes a higher standard of love and compassion, even in the face of hardship, by urging people to rise above the innate human tendency toward wrath, retaliation, and revenge. Jesus challenges the divide and strike that frequently afflict human relationships by promoting love for enemies as a means of achieving healing, peace, and reconciliation. Despite being challenging to obey, this directive has served as the inspiration for significant social justice movements, such as the Civil Rights Movement, in which leaders like as Martin Luther King Jr. personified the values of compassion for oppressors and peaceful resistance. This teaching's radicalism still has an effect on interpersonal interactions and social structures, fostering change and unification. This concept, which encourages people and communities to seek understanding and forgiveness even in the most trying situations, is universal and hence applicable across cultures and historical periods. In summary, Jesus' moral teachings' universal appeal. In conclusion, there is a global appeal to Jesus' moral teachings that cuts beyond theological and cultural divides. His ageless teachings on love, forgiveness, humility, and peace serve as a basis for moral conduct and kind-hearted living in the modern world, in a society that frequently looks split by hatred, greed, and strife. Jesus' teachings to love one's neighbor as oneself, forgive even those who harm us, and serve others selflessly are still incredibly important. His teachings inspire us to put aside our differences and embrace universal human ideals, pushing us to look beyond ourselves and strive toward a more compassionate and just society. Jesus' teachings provide us with a beacon of hope as we attempt to resolve difficult moral conundrums. They encourage compassion, solidarity, and comprehension. The moral compass Jesus established continues to inspire and guide us toward a more loving and peaceful society, regardless of whether we are spiritual searchers, devoted believers, or regular people trying to be good. His message, which offers hope for a better future based on fairness and compassion, is just as important now as it was 2 millennia ago. Let us know in the comments what you think about the moral teachings of Jesus and their universal appeal, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more captivating content on our YouTube channel.